Good morning, guys. Welcome to a very special power hour. You get to hang out with me and Alyssa.
Hi, y'all.
So we're going to go over some really fun stuff today because we just launched the new Shoreline Glow collection. Oh, like I show the back, I meant to the front. Fine. I'm like, you can see them.
Let's see. There you go.
There you go. That's better. That's a better shot.
So good.
But yeah, Alyssa is going to walk us through the inspiration behind the collection and also, of course, some fun chemistry stuff behind Jimmy Gel. Feel free to put any of your questions in the chat. If there's anything as we see it come up, we can work it in. If there's anything that's a little more complicated, we can always save it and do it at the end. Then take it away.
Woo-hoo. Okay, so for the Shoreline Glow collection, we did a lot of market research before trying to figure out exactly where we wanted to go with this collection. The nice thing with Jimmy Gels is because we have so many colors already in this line, we get your feedback, not only by calling in, not only at trade shows, not only when you talk to Ashley, but through your sales, right? And so what we're finding selling a lot more of is driving, okay, that's what we know that you love. And then also coupling that with kind of market research as far as what we're seeing in the industry today, what's currently hot, what's up and coming, and then what even the next step beyond that, what's going to be hot to be on the latest, trendiest cutting edge. So to start with what is currently hot, I'm not used to seeing these in the caps, but that's why I should look on the bottom, I know, especially between Coastal Blush and Sunkissed or Sunwashed.
You know, it's crazy how the caps don't, it's like when you're just looking at the little hearts, but then you open it and you're, oh, that's what wow, those are very different colors. Okay.
Yeah, because it's buildable, right?
Yeah.
So the overall thought process, the overall planning that goes into Jimmy Gel, it's not just the color, it is the quantity of color as well, because Jimmy Gel isn't meant to be a P+. It's not meant to be a one coat coverage buttercream. It is meant to be a buildable color. And that means finding a color saturation that works at one coat, add an overlay. It means that it works as a structure, multi-coat thick color. And so that's optimized when we do these new colors as well. But back to what's currently trending. These softer pinks are consistently the highest selling pinks on the market. And so currently we have soft pink Jimmy Gel, very well loved. No bias on your end, but having something that leans a warmer in the same space. So soft pink Jimmy Gel is a cool toned pink, whereas the Coastal Blush has a lot more of that summer tan, summer flush pink to it, but it is still muted. It's still quiet, but there is a little bit of summer warmth to it.
It just gives beach.
I love that.
It looks like your toes should be like in the sand, like you should have a drink in hand. I don't know. That's literally what that color looks like.
I love that. And seeing, so it went right hand in hand with the theme and the color name itself. But because it's such a muted, because it's such a pulled back, quiet tone, it's really flattering across a lot of skin tones. It can be used in a lot of versatile ways. We can do Frenches, we can have a standalone color. We're talking a lot about that clean girl aesthetic and Barbie nails and all of that sort of stuff. And yeah, so she's really good for that. And that's what we decided. So current trend, #1 seller. I'm sure this will be really popular with your clients for a lot of different choices. Like you said, fingers and toes, right?
Yeah. I wear soft pink on my toes all the time. Sometimes it's funny because on my skin tone, soft pink is a little light, but I still really like it. But then when I saw this and also this one, I don't know, both of these, they're just a little warmer. And I feel like this on my toes is just might actually replace soft pink in my brain. I don't know. They're really pretty. They're really pretty.
I love it. But yeah, you do have obviously your couple shades and everything. So it makes sense.
Yeah, and if I actually spent time outside, this would fit me even better.
Sometimes we're just internal species. Like you said, what, you're at 115 degrees
right now. Yeah. When it's 127, I don't go outside anymore. I just stay inside, but then I lose my tan. So if I actually went outside, I'd be a lot darker and then I would look even better with these.
Yes, but that makes it year-round for you because then in the fall and the spring,
yes,
when you are outside all tan,
yeah,
then it's your perfect time. But then even
literally
cooler.
The opposite of everybody else. Have the tan in the winter And then everybody's, oh, I'm so pale. And I'm the opposite because I'm outside 24/7.
Yeah, I could see that. Some ironies of locations and
Oh, 100%.
spaces.
But, it's the perfect amount of warmth without being like too far. I think that's what I'm most excited about with this one. Because a lot of times companies make like warmer colors and then they go so far to the orange.
Yep.
And then you feel too little Cheeto-ish.
Yep.
And then that's nobody, or a bad spray tan.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, it looks like a bad spray tan. Like, but no, this is.
And I will say, so I have some Jimmy Gels up here. I did not make sure all of them were in the store. We're at the nail table right now, in case you guys can't tell, at HQ
In the classroom.
And so I found all of our things that we use. But there we go. I didn't do as much of my prep work as I should have. There's about 5.
It's okay. We're on the fly.
I know. This is the thing with live, just so you guys know. I think this is only like my 3rd live I've ever done. I've done Chemist Corners. I've done some YouTube stuff, but the only other thing I've done some of the virtual trade shows that we did a couple years back.
Yes.
I did one, and that was my probably only other live thing. So you guys are seeing it's raw and filtered, and don't laugh and point too horribly. Okay, so the only color I don't have up here is soft pink, which is the one that we're talking about. So there's an irony of life for you. But the reason why I wanted to bring it up and show it is the color level of soft pink versus the coastal blush, because then that you can see if we're talking just in this collection release, Sunwashed without the reflection. Sunwashed is less pigmented than Shoreline Glow, and so soft pink kind of falls in this arena. But anyway, so that's our coastal blush baby. Talking about Sunwashed specifically, so this is emerging trend starting on the ramp up right now, right? So this is even a little bit more quiet back into, here, let's see how close I can get. I tried this pretty close. There you go. I tried this the other day when we were filming the release
video on a
teaser. Yeah. And did you see how washed out those tips were?
Yeah.
So I know I can't really tell how I can see. But so yeah, so you can see a little bit better up here without the reflection. But these two in comparison is what I was.
Yeah, I'm like, I think with the
There we
in the
go.
background, you can see the comparison really well.
Yeah. It does not help that I have these really bright on nails right now because it is a little bit like neutral and bright. But
yes.
So yeah, so Sunwash, she's emerging right now. This is the neutral that is really that true understated. But like you said, Ashley, it is a warmer leaning instead of having that cold or cool pink kind of leaning. And then that is, again, this is meant to be a buildable color. Even what I have up here, Precious. Probably the number one coverage feedback that we got is that people love Precious. People love the coverage of Precious and how buildable that is. So it's not overwhelming. It's not one coat's great, but 2 coats is not pretty anymore or not preferred anymore.
Yeah.
And so mimicking that, right? I want to give you more of what you want.
Yes.
There's no point in that.
Which I always love. Like when we launched Precious, one of the things that was great about it was how you could use it with ombre, because even one thinner coat was like so pigmented. You could use it to ease that blend. But I'm feeling after playing with the Shoreline, I feel like these guys are the same. This has that perfect, like, it's buildable. So you can use that to blend in your ombre too. So I feel like that's going to be this one's definitely going to be a go-to for that, for sure.
Yeah. I love that. But again, filling in the holes, right? Again, finding even within what works strong in the current color lineup, trying to make sure that we have every kind of branch of, okay, if we are missing something specifically in this area, and obviously the warm pinks are not currently represented very well without going full blown beige or, salmon colored or anything in that space.
Oh, salmon is not a good color.
It's delicious, but it's not fun to wear.
I love to eat a salmon. Yes. Salmon is my go-to dinner basically every night, but not on my nails.
No, there's a time and a place for salmon, and it is.
At least not on my skin tone. I don't know. Maybe some other
On my
people.
skin tone is.
I know. I was like, I don't think that a true salmon color is very friendly on anything. Maybe an outfit. Like
can see
maybe
that.
like
Yep.
a t-shirt, but
Yep.
not on nails and sometimes even makeup. It's too.
I was gonna say even blushes, you have to have the
Yes.
exact right skin tone.
Yeah. Because I thought I would look really good with a salmon blush. I do not.
Yeah, I can see
I
that.
do not.
Yep.
I can pull off a light peach.
Okay.
That's about as orange as I go.
Yeah.
Which is that's what I think of when I look at this. It's like peach, but like real peach.
Yeah.
Not what people typically make when they think peach. They make it too orange, but
Mhm.
peach is actually more subtle than that.
More white containing.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not so much just the color red yellow balance. It actually is it's red yellow white balance when you're talking a true correct well done peach. So it's balancing all of those things together. So yeah, so that's Sunwashed. And yeah, just a warm neutral without going full blown in the beige category.
Yes.
And then talking about next level, being cutting edge, next gen kind of thing is this funky, beautiful lady.
Look at it.
So good.
I'm obsessed.
So fun fact, I am not sea glass commonly, yes, I will admit, is green and blue. Those are
Mhm.
common sea glass colors. But did you know that purple sea glass is actually one of the most rare and sought after sea glass colors?
I love that.
It
didn't
exists,
know
and
that.
she is, yes. I thought that was just so perfect because I kept on just thinking glass in this color space, and I just kept on returning to it. But in my head, I was like, nope, you can't go there because green, blue, green, blue. But then when I actually was like, purple sea glass, I don't know why that's all I'm seeing. But when I looked into it and did a little bit of research, because we all have to answer those questions.
Yes.
Lifelong learner. My go-to is you're supposed to learn something new every day. And so there's my random fun
Random
fact of
fact.
the day. Yes, is purple sea glass. Be the hard to find beauty is the,
I love that.
subtitle
Makes
for
me
that.
love it even more. I didn't know that.
Just learn something new every day. That's the thing.
There you go.
It's so good. But yeah, so this is obviously not a common color that you're going to see, but this is what's going to be the trend of, or the
Like it's
surprise,
like,
delight.
look,
It's good. Yeah.
stunning.
And it's different, but it's not different you're not going to look sickly in it. You're not going to, it's not
No, it's
bad,
so
weird
bright.
different. Yeah.
It's like bright, but like not shit. It's not like I'm wearing purple. Is it purple? But
A
it is
whisper.
purple. Yes.
Is what it is.
It's like somebody yelling it from the other room.
Yep. Yep. It's so good. But, and again, too, so it's the unexpected, but it's like a pastel neon kind of almost, but
Yeah.
really diluted. Again, it's meant to be buildable. This is not meant to be a single color that one coat and two coats will look the same. They will look different, and that's
Mhm.
purposeful. If you want to go the quieter route, that then is okay, that's your one coat or clear with sea glass. Or if you want to lean into more what that cap looks like, because that's a thick product cured up top, is then you do your buildable coats that way instead.
This is it. I feel like it could almost be used in the same way as like the Jimmy colors. A little bit. You could get like a really sheer purple if you wanted to do like a base under nail art or something.
Yeah.
It's not going to be obviously as sheer as Jimmy colors, but it would give like that little bit of a hue under there. I think that would be really great. It gives mochi.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm picturing like mochi nails. I don't know how I would do that. Christy would figure it out. She would probably do like a 3D mochi. She has 3D food on her nails right now. I'm always obsessed while she's doing her nails. She's like, hey, I'm going to build a tiny pretzel. And I'm like, okay.
As one does.
Okay.
As one
I'm
does.
like, cool.
Okay, so we've talked salmon, mochi, then so that was dinner and then dessert.
Yeah.
So we're just covering all of the.
Apparently I'm hungry.
Sometimes it's just where our brains go. There's happiness in food. There's happiness in Jimmy Gel colors. There's a
happiness in
parallel.
Jimmy Gel colors.
I'm seeing the parallel there. I'm here for it. So yeah, so that's
Katie said 3D with acrylic powder like sweater nails.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh
That
my
would be
gosh.
gorgeous.
I'm so excited now
Mhm.
for sweater nails.
And I can't wait to see, too. I want to see all of the things that you guys make with these, and tag us in the groups and everything. That's always my biggest excitement is seeing different minds and how they analyze and say, yeah,
What they
this is
come
what
up
we're going to
with.
do. Yeah. Because my brain works obviously in a certain way that my brain works. And other people's brains think of completely different things. And I'm like, and it's just awe inspiring. So anyways, artiste away with all of the quirky food, animal texture ideas
Yeah.
out there for these. I'm so excited. But so another thing that I get to be uniquely talking about, to take a little bit of a segue part to this, is so yes, I get to play in the color space a lot, which is really fun. But another thing that I am that is under my responsibility umbrella is making the base itself. And so I wanted to speak to that a little bit while we were here together, because one of the reasons why Jimmy Gel is so beloved is not just because of the colors. Obviously, having an end color use is so incredibly important. You want people to get excited to wear, you want to be excited to wear the colors as well, but also having the confidence in the quality of the final products is really important to me, to us, to everybody here. And we have that kind of high level of fine tuning in Jimmy Gel, like it was. So Jimmy Gel is our newest base product, right? We just introduced her in 2020. And
baby.
she's a youngin. She's a child. Which, being Jimmy, he's a child, technically. Although with most of the time, yes, everything does tend to be a she, doesn't it?
I know. And I was looking right at the purple, so I'm like, she's so cute.
Yeah, that's where. Well, baby. Second time I've heard you say that since you've been to me. That's a good. Yep, that's so sweet. But in her creation and her incubation, in making it just right, when we look at base gels, we are really concerned about formulating them to so many different specifications. So I just got to give the chemistry class at Ashley's here HQ in-person class yesterday, which was so fun. It was such a good group.
It really
of
was.
folks.
We had such a great class over the last few days. Just amazing. We had a
Yeah.
great time.
And for me, okay, so I live here. This is a little bit of a chicken, I'll admit that. But so for me, who's usually here in HQ in the building, I don't interface as much as say you do with new faces or different people. I'm used to the same 27 people we've got here on staff. And one thing that I specifically love is the level of passion and excitement that I see from everybody here. And it relights my fire too. So I'm really happy that we do all of these mental planning and content weeks that we do here, because I can speak about chemistry all day long, but then to see the end, wow, it makes a difference, right? It's not just, I'm deciding this has to be a certain way. I love to see the end excitement, use, all of those kinds of things. It is, yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I ended up too in this industry is it's not quite as exciting to get a peek on a scan readout from a GCMS instrument in the lab, which yes, it is very satisfying to get your correct scan printed out. I know you can all totally know what I'm talking about. But
Yeah, I completely know what I'm.
what did you say? A GCMS.
GCMS.
Yes.
I already forgot. I'm like,
Gas chromatography mass spectroscopy, and it measures molecules in your gel.
oh, that's cool.
Fun fact, we have a lot of
I love
analytical
that.
tools in the lab.
I do like that. Like, I can never remember what any of them are called, but I'll be like, there's a machine for that at HQ. I know there is.
Yeah,
I don't know what it's called,
We got one of
but
those.
they have one.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, okay, so cool. You get the spit out of the graph. Sure, you have it, and it is nice to see, yep, that the reaction was done correctly. But at the end of the day, what lights my fire more is seeing a physical, tangible product that is the result of chemistry. And that, I think, is just the coolest thing in the entire world.
It is.
So anyway, sorry, that was a super chicken walk from where I started. But
Bishops and walk.
yeah, like the chickens go here, they go here, and it's never a straight line.
I've never heard that.
Really?
That's my new favorite.
Yeah, it's a visual chicken walk.
walk.
Yeah, believe me. Yeah, right.
That literally, I feel like every time that I'm around you and something will happen, and if one of us doesn't know it, I notice we both pull our phones out at the same time to be like,
Yeah.
I need to look this up. And like little sayings and things like that. And I'm just like, I feel like we're constantly like bouncing things back and forth, but we're also like the same.
In the same, yes.
like,
No,
it's really funny.
yeah,
I don't
it's so
know.
good.
All week I've just been like, okay, we're like very in sync.
On the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Yep. You see that? I love it. That's why we work well together with our
Yes.
crossovers,
Yes.
with our
I know Vidar said we're a dynamic duo. We're back in.
I feel like we need to
Yeah.
find an A. So dynamic duo is D and D. So since we're A and A, we need to find like
Oh,
an alliterative
yes.
team name for us. So if anybody has any ideas, let me know. If not, I'll AI it or something. The A team. I saw that one pop up. I love that.
Vidar, you're the best. He's good.
Yep.
Good for our egos.
Yep. There you go. Keep it
Megan
up there for
asked,
egos.
are you going to do up close swatches of the new collection and compare to other colors? I think, did we have another up
I
close
do.
that was swatched on line?
I don't know if they're downstairs. There is a ring of Jimmy Gels of the current collection that I think exists downstairs. Again, my lack of full circle preparation. It exists all together. So we will put a picture up on socials for that because obviously it's really helpful to see exactly where. Because one thing that I always say is when we're talking color matching and color creation, words can only go so far, right? More or less this, that, compared to if you have an actual physical swatch to compare to each thing to. So yes, we will have the swatches out because that absolutely does make a difference, right?
Yeah.
When you're considering which one you're going to prefer in comparison to what you already have on your nail table. So yeah, since it's not here right now, but we'll get a little snap of that so you guys can see that. But yeah, oh, sorry. Back to see the chicken walk.
I know.
Part of the chicken walk
A
here
chicken
and
walk
there and
away.
here and there. Full circle chicken walk this way, back to where we were. But no, speaking to, okay, we do have a lot of instrumentation in the lab to measure so many different things. And what we were seeing is what was working with different LexiLine products at that point, thinking about, say, the flexibility of Extreme versus the viscosity of Extreme, and seeing how we were talking color holes, seeing where we have hardness and flexibility holes in the line that we're currently representing, but that need to be represented. So there was a long iterative process to getting Jimmy Gel to market. And so there is the perfect balance of, we measured the hardness, which we measure the hardness with it's not collapsible hardness. Sometimes those words are just not quite right, but it's a vertical hardness, right? And so how hard something is when you actually tap on the nail. I don't know if you can hear that. No, that's the point of this, but you can hear the hardness versus when something's softer and it's just a little bit more muted and dull. And then measuring strength, which in and of itself, strength is not a measurable unit, but some of the things that we do is we do measure flexural strength and we do measure tensile strength. And tensile strength is a product's resistance to break. And so that is something like fiber has a really high tensile strength. So it's really hard to break fiber, whereas Jimmy Gel has a lot lower of tensile strength. And so it bends a lot more before it then breaks and fails. But that was specifically designed and optimized with the oligomers and monomers that we have put into Jimmy Gel. We have also optimized the monomer content. So monomers are viscosity adjusters, right? So that's what matters more so to you as the user. You care about the viscosity of your product because you're the one applying it, you're the one working with it, all that kind of all in that space. But I have options of which monomers to use, right? It's not a one size fits all. It's not just like diluting something with solvent or diluting too strong coffee. Yeah, it's not like a too strong coffee with water. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so different monomers, metaphors are really very important, I've decided, when talking about chemistry.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not necessarily the easiest concept to grasp or like visualize. So I'm a big proponent of, when I'm talking like really in-depth chemistry, I like to do a PowerPoint with it and show all the concepts that I'm talking about, and use a lot of metaphors for that reason.
Yeah.
And also I have terrible writing, so you don't want to see me handwrite anything. Really and truly, you want me to print the things, you want me to show the pictures of the things, you don't want me handwriting. It's not a good time. Yeah, exactly. Also, I'm a lefty, so I write over my writing. It smears, it smudges. It's a whole thing. It's a whole can of worms. You don't want to open that can of worms. So I like to do metaphors and types. Yep. typeface and metaphors. That's the name of my game. So yeah, but back to, so I can choose what monomers go into Jimmy Gel because they polymerize at different rates. They act differently. They can affect the hardness and the crossing density as well. And so another test that we did, and that was, I feel, is so important for Jimmy Gel and anything in the industry these days, is we did what's called a leaching test. And that is where we cure the film itself. And then we try to pull any unreacted material out of the film by soaking it in acetone, isopropanol, water, common things that the end user would come into contact with while wearing the product, right? Because what we care about is what monomers are leaving the cured products, because that's how we determine, or that's how we open ourselves up to allergenic responses and the possibility of those allergenic responses. So we went through all of those leaching tests with Jimmy Gel, and that actually did change the monomer package that was used in Jimmy Gel. And so that's all very specifically designed to optimize viscosity, minimize allergenic responses, and optimize crossing density and all of those variables so that it's not just an easy product to apply, but that it is also a safe and functional product to apply. So I think it's really important to know that it's not just about the pretty, although we love the pretty, and I would love to talk about the pretty all day long too, but it goes hand in hand with the safety and the reliability.
Which, like, I feel like I know we talk about chemistry a lot. We obviously we do a lot on socials. We do a lot on Power Hour. We have great chemistry. We have all of the things that show that we care about the chemistry and that we worry about what's in the products and that they're hypoallergenic and that we're safer. But it's that transparency of we've actually done the testing. It's not just, oh, our products are HEMA free and we stop there. There's other chemicals, obviously, in our products that can be sensitizing, just as HEMA can be. But it's a matter of actually testing those things and watching those things. And not every company is going to be doing that almost like farm to table, so to speak. Where it's like, I couldn't think of anything else. And I was like, that's literally farm to table, but obviously don't eat it. There you go. But it is, other companies may get their product manufactured somewhere and they say, hey, we want to be HEMA and TPO free, remove it from it. Great, we're going to order it, we're going to get it. But not every company is going to be able to show you the behind the scenes and actually sit here and say, we have a chemist who's here, who is overseeing all of these things and watching these things and understanding that even every nail product is chemicals, right? And so all we can do is ensure that we're using it in the safest way possible and that it's being manufactured in the safest way possible. And that transparency, just from being able to sit here with Alyssa and talk to you guys about that, and also just know that every product that comes out of here that we sell is treated with the same manners. That's just always something, no matter how many times I sit and listen to the chemistry, or I would see Jim talk or Alyssa talk, like it is just constantly in my brain, like my nail tech brain, just being like, oh, this is why I use it. This is why I love it. Because no matter how many times I hear it, it's yes, okay. That's the transparency that we need in the industry as a whole. Because not everything is just, oh yeah, we remove this and this so it's safe.
And knowing why too, right?
Yeah.
Like knowing not just, okay, we're HEMA free. I'm going to read the ingredient label and make sure there's no HEMA, but knowing why you're looking for what you're looking for is a way more confident space that you can come from, instead of just, oh, I'm just doing this because I was told that's what I'm doing, versus I know why I'm doing this, or I know what to look for beyond just copy pasting. This is what I need to look for, in that whole confidence that comes with it, right? And the other thing too, so talking about dealing with chemicals at the end of the day, that it's very true. They're reactive chemicals in this beautiful bottle. We are one of the most unique industries in that we sit in this weird hybrid of beauty industry and chemical reaction industry. And now there's nothing else in that space, right?
Just the two of us sitting here right now.
Yep.
We're living in the same world, but obviously our
Bubbles
actual
are like
existence.
this.
Yeah. They're just like, they're like,
We are like a Venn diagram for another little nerdy thing out there, another little nerdy overlap.
literally.
But that said, okay, so I have been at Light Elegance for over 12 years now. I'm not new here, right? I've known you since you started here. I've been like, yeah, been around the block. You know what I mean? So I'm very confident and comfortable with the raw materials that are here. I've said this on a Chemist Corner before, but so I have a 2.5-year-old, almost 3-year-old now, which means that through my whole pregnancy, I was still in the lab. I was still formulating. I was still working with these chemicals, but knowing that even in their raw form, even at 100% concentration, not just as a final product, that I did not have giant, scary, big concerns about what I was working with when it comes to either my health or the health of little marinating baby. But that's a great level of confidence to have in that I'm not scared to do my daily work. I'm not scared to work with my final product. I still wore nails my whole pregnancy, and I was confident in that. It wasn't, oh, I hope I'm fine or anything like that. So I really, that I think is a separate or an additional testament to having that farm to table confidence. That's my new favorite term now. Hey, you got a chicken walk. I got a farm to table. Nope. In nail products. I'm loving this.
Just trading back and forth.
Again, the bouncing back and forth on the same notes. So yeah.
We have a comment here. So I'd love to hear or read about the results of that leaching test, especially in comparison to other products out there for reference. I don't know if we can.
So I tend to, this industry is, I'm all about a rising tide floats all boats, right? So I am not here to say, oh, Light Elegance. Exactly.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. When it comes to a safety standpoint, obviously I'm never going to say all nail products are the same and every single nail brand out there is just as safe as ours and everything like that.
And especially when you have allergies. Obviously, some of us do have those monomer allergies and chemical allergies. And you know when you wear something, whether it's clean or not.
Exactly. So from that standpoint, yeah, I have full confidence and full transparency in our products and releasing the percent leached in our products and how it would compare to, say, company number one.
Yes, yeah,
But-
without actually having a name. So there's a frame of reference of what a bad percentage or what an abnormal percentage of that looks like versus ours.
Yeah. Also with the caveat, I haven't tested every single thing on the market. I have benchmarks. I have certain things. Another thing that I didn't specifically speak to, but another reason why we brought Jimmy Gel as a formula to the market was that was a time where everybody was coming out with a rubber base, right? And rubber base doesn't actually mean anything. That's just a marketing generalization for the viscosity and application and kind of texture of things. I have felt everything that's marketed as a rubber base, from something that truly does feel like rubber to really hard, brittle products, but they're all just brush applied and bottle applied. And all of that's marketed as a rubber base.
It's like saying that one builder in a bottle is different than a builder. It depends on what you put in the bottle.
Exactly.
A builder in a bottle is also just a blanket term for a building gel in a bottle.
Packaged in a
Packaged in a
Yep.
bottle. Literally that.
That would be like, oh, the Lexi line is builder in a pot. But
Yes.
obviously they're all very different from one another.
Exactly.
But builder in a pot is the same thing as that. It's just, there's not a definition to what to expect from a rubber base necessarily.
Yeah.
And so the reason why I bring that up is there are so many different chemistries and formulations in bottle building products that it's virtually impossible to test every single one on the market, and they just do behave so differently.
Vidar said, I have clients who find my distributor or me as a nail tech who do not know or do nails or know about the industry, but come to us because they have heard about Ellie and their safe chemistry. That tells you all you need to know of the power of what you do.
Oh, thanks, Vidar. You're just pumping up my ego a little bit today.
No.
I really like having you on the stream. I appreciate it.
It's great. I always love when Vidar.
So good.
He has the best comments and questions and answers and all the things.
Start giving gold stars for, I don't know what the acronym would be, but so you have MVP or employee of the month or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so Vidar's commenter of the stream.
Yes.
Whatever acronym that would be.
Top commenter.
There you go. There you go. Start making a contest.
Literally.
So
And
good.
Katie said, thank you for saying the things about the rubber base. It's been very confusing.
It's so funny. Someone in her class actually mentioned that, and that's why it was on my mind. Again,
I'm like,
the
Katie, was it you?
conversation-
She was
yeah,
in the class.
Yep. Actually, no, you know who? It was Sammy.
Oh, it was
Sammy did mention it. Yeah.
Sammy.
So see, same thought process. Again, good job everybody being in tune.
Yeah.
But I love to hear those questions too, right? Because sometimes when there's things that are unclear, then like, how do you really know? Right. And I don't like to speak to things that I'm not fully confident on. That is one thing that I will say. Anything that you hear me say, I don't try and speak about spaces that I'm like, I think this is the case,
Same.
but I don't really know, because I will tell you. So I'm an oldest daughter. I'm a firstborn daughter in thing, and our personalities tend to be do it myself. Don't worry. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't like to have egg on my face. I don't like to be like, oh, I was wrong. Not saying I
Yeah.
won't be.
No. Well,
But
yeah, we
I don't
don't
like
have
it.
off days, but we try not to be.
Yeah, I don't like to be proven wrong. So when I say the things, I'm confident about the things.
Yeah, Katie said the eldest daughters club.
Yeah.
We talked about that in class because I'm also eldest daughter, eldest everything, both sides of my family. Firstborn.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like,
Overlap.
I get it. Just,
Yep.
but yeah, same. I don't like to be wrong. So if
Mhm.
I don't know for 100%, I'm going to be honest that I don't know. I'm not going to speak on something that I know nothing about. And if I know something, I'll be like, this is what I know,
Yes, that.
but this is the only portion that I know and understand. The rest is, I don't
I
know.
can't speak to
I
it.
don't know. So and that's really important when people ask me on the booth, like at trade shows and stuff, when they would be like, what do you think makes a good educator? What do you think makes a difference between one educator from another, or different videos, education online from one to the other? And I think that's the thing, is you can tell when somebody speaks in both factual and I don't know what the word would be, but this is my understanding and this is fact. Like
I
there's
got
a
you.
different
Opinion versus
yes, yeah, opinion. I'm like, there's a difference between I'm explaining something to you, this is my experience, this is my personal use, and this is my understanding of it. And then this is something that I know for a fact to be true. But some people speak with everything being a fact that they know to be true, but it may not be. And so I feel that when you have that moment of I can truly trust this person and what they're telling me right now, it's because they have that balance of this is my opinion, but then I know this is fact. But then this portion is not fact.
Yep.
This is just me. Those two things can coexist, but I think that when you're explaining something, you don't have to explain it in a way that is factual. And that I know when I teach, one thing that I've always been complimented on is that I will tell people, I do it this way, but you could also try this way or this way,
That
which
is really
I have
important.
tried. And I don't necessarily like it. I find this way to work the best. However, if I come back around and a student is struggling with that method more than, and I have to come back more than a couple times and they're still struggling, I'm like, listen, why don't we try this a couple different ways and see if there's a way that works better for you versus what works best for me. And I feel like a lot of educators, a lot of people in the industry don't do that. And then it's the same thing with marketing and these rubber base builder in a bottle.
This is the way you
There's,
do it.
yes,
Nothing
there's
else.
this aisle. This is the best. This is the right way. And everything else is wrong. And the marketing gimmicks are not just there to mess with us. They're there to mess with our clients too, so that they also seek out, because they know clients are seeking out brands to seek out nail techs. Well, that was a long comment. Hold on. I just saw that pop up like a paragraph.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, wait, I saw Anne Marie. I struggle with the blank tips detaching from Jimmy Gel, although I use tack and prep the nail and with an arbor band. Cake said, could you use spider print? I would say it's probably, you probably want to make sure that you're fully activating that tack on the tip. So making sure you're not applying too much, but just enough that when you're scrubbing it in there, it's getting tacky. But also sometimes with the blank tips detaching, it can also be a sign that the base that you're using under the blank tip is slightly too flexible, or I would say, or rigid, but Jimmy Gel is obviously that's going to be too flexible for that client's nails. So I would just start switching to Lexiline on those particular clients that you're having issues with blank tips, because flexibility is really important, especially when it comes to those full cover tips. She also said, also trying on myself, my nail bed has a very big C curve. I find that the tip that fits my sidewall is too flat for my nail. I actually use a warmer, like a heating pad, and I will warm up my tips and then I roll them in my hand. I also have a deeper C curve. So anytime that I'm using our blank tips, I will use a heating pad to just, same thing as like when it's too cold and you want to heat up your gel a little bit, just heating up the plastic. And then you could also put them in hot water. It's a little messier, but you could, anything, any way to, yeah, any way to warm them up is just warm them and then just gently roll them in your hand. That way you don't get a crease in it. Dar said, I wanted to ask about cure thickness with Jimmy Gel. The trend in the industry is building a full layer of bottled builder in one go and flash cure or cure. I know that cure thickness is an important factor to take into account. From my own experiments, I've seen this technique create pocket lifting and bad adhesion. Am I right in being cautious about this trend when not done right?
Absolutely, right? So everything has a maximum cure thickness. And so one of the things that we try and balance when we pigment any of the base gels, and this is true for Lexiline, this is true for Jimmy Gel, is that we do have a minimum cure thickness that we will not go under. And that's the same limit for all of our building gels. And obviously if you exceed that, then you're getting into that area where you're not having that full cross link happening. So and you're confident that your application thickness does not exceed the cure thickness that you're getting or that the product can provide, then yes, err on the side of less until you get really just intuitive with, okay, this is where I can stop building. And then this is where I might have to do 2 layers, or I can do 1 nail of this thickness. Just so you all know, it doesn't really mean much. Wow, say it 5 times fast. It's hard to translate, rather, not that it doesn't mean much, but that minimum is 40 thousandths of an inch. So you can go, if you want to get calipers and measure that out, then you can see what that is, right? And so as long as you're not exceeding that thickness, then that's what we're tinting to. Some do cure thicker. I'm not saying that they all cure just to that thickness, because with different pigment levels, obviously, then you're getting different cure thicknesses. And so some colors, some viscosities, some products absolutely do cure thicker than that, but none will cure less than that. And that thickness was specifically chosen because that is an average overlay or an average built nail thickness when we're talking in the apex area specifically, obviously not the free edge. So do a little bit of trial and error until, again, all I want is you all to feel fully confident, right? So I want to give all the information I can. I want to formulate the products so that you have nothing but confidence in what you are doing and how you're doing it is the end goal.
That would probably be good. I was trying to think while you were talking.
I'm writing it down.
Have we done this? Which, as we're coming to a close here
Yeah,
with
let's get
our
cranky.
hour, I do want to throw in there, I'm like with the mention of Chemist Corner, we will actually be filming some more Chemist Corners tomorrow. We already have some really good questions that we've gotten on social media and things that we just hear along the grapevine from day to day.
Yes.
Yeah. We always have an ongoing list of things that we want to throw into Chemist Corner, but if there's anything specific that you guys would like to hear on Chemist Corner, definitely let us know. Either throw it in the chat really quick here before we wrap up, or you can email me, ashleeb@lightelegance.com, or message us on Instagram as well. And then we can definitely add that onto the list for tomorrow. But we really are wanting to
tomorrow, but they're going to
no, but we'll be filming tomorrow. Yes. Yeah. We always want to add more things that are relevant. We have our own ideas of what I hear in the industry, like what I personally want to talk about, and then what Alyssa wants to talk about. And so we always have a good base level, but it never hurts to hear more things that you guys want to learn about. And even if we don't put it into Chemist Corner, we can always use it in other ways to add into our education, because education is so important to us as a company. And so we want to continue elevating that with education.
Or even that said, even if we've done a Chemist Corner on a topic before and it just didn't quite click, or you're still foggy on the idea.
Yes. Yeah.
Sometimes hearing something, the same topic a different way or at a different time is the thing that clicks it, right?
Yeah.
So even if we've already done a Chemist Corner on it, or even if you think it's a common question or whatever, still please ask those, because sometimes that's really what takes it. Like,
Yeah.
phrasing is the thing that clicks it into place. Or maybe I'll bring a bunch of props and then we'll just visualize everything.
Exactly. I know, because I know one thing, obviously we've talked about lights and curing and things like that before, but then we do continue to get questions. And I think the big thing now, which I've been seeing it all over social media, is more of like the irradiance and not just, oh, okay, what's the nanometer? What's the things like that. And so, yeah. And so it's okay. Yes. Like we can talk about, and then there's still
different pieces that are going to come up that maybe we didn't touch on or maybe weren't focused. Vidar says, can't wait to see the Chemist corners coming up. I've been having so much fun being on Chemist Corner. The first one I filmed, I was like, and our photographer that does like all of our videography and stuff, he goes, Ash, I have some notes. I said, okay. And I was like, what are your notes? He goes, talk for one. It's, oh, okay. And he goes, also, you look scared. Oh no. I was literally just like, what do I say? What are we talking about? But it's also the chemistry once I got settled into it. But it's like,
Once you got confident,
yes, because there's a lot of chemistry that obviously over the last, like, I've been using Light Elegance for 13 or 14 years now, and then working more closely with it for 8. There's a lot of chemistry that I understand and that I've come to learn and that I can teach and I can express and I have a good understanding of it. But then it's like having a conversation like with you is I'm like, right. Yeah. So like molecules.
what's the whole thing is in the process of learning, it's see one, do one, teach one. And there's different levels of confidence that you have to have at each stopping point, right?
Yeah.
So I totally get that too, because then it's one thing to understand or to see, to be taught and say, okay, I understand, say what a teacher has taught me in school. Okay, I passed organic chemistry 101 with a A. Okay, cool. That's my C1. My do one is then, okay, I'm confident my formulation is going to succeed in when in use and in the industry. And then my teach one then is making sure that the words that I'm saying are understood and delivered in a clear manner so that you teach it. So it's all those different levels and it's the exact same thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Now
Yeah.
you just have enough of all this under your belt that you're like, yeah, I can teach it. 'Cause
Yes.
I know it so well.
I
and that's
understand
that
it.
level.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
This right here is what makes Ellie education the best.
Confidence. And Ashley, she's pretty gosh darn golly gee great, you guys. We're
I
pretty
try.
great to have her. Makes me happy.
Very lucky to be here. I worked my butt off. I'm very lucky
shows.
to be here.
Yep. Yep. Combination of skill and quality and hard work and all the things. It's,
Grit. I'm
yeah,
like,
and
pure,
grit.
pure
Oh my
determination and
Yeah.
grit.
Yeah, stubbornness.
I am very stubborn. I'm like eldest daughter, Aquarius.
Yep.
All the things.
Yep.
I'm
There you
like,
go.
Stubborn as heck. But and then today's code for you guys, I did want to make sure you still had a code since we always do that for power hour. So my code is Ashley0617. So you guys can use that on the Light Elegance website for the next week.
Love it.
And then
Get your Shoreline glow
yes,
with your code.
I'm like, snag these beauties. They're stunning.
Yep.
I love them.
Yep.
Socials. What do you mean, Katie? Or you mean
Elegance.
oh, Instagram. Like our Instagrams. Here, hold on. Mine's badash_nails.
Oh my gosh, that makes sense. I never heard it spoken. Oh my word, that just now full circled for me. That is adorable. I've read it. I know it. I never put 2 and 2 together. Oh my gosh. Dang. I learned something new today.
You learn something new every day.
Oh, that's so good.
I changed it, I think in 2016. My clients kept telling me that my nail art was so badass.
Yeah.
And then I was like, or is it bad ash? And then I was like, hey. And then I was like, is that dumb or should I do it?
Nope,
And
I
then
love it. I
my
love it.
husband was like, full send. And so, yeah, yep.
What?
But a lot of people will say, but ash or something else. Or they're like, I read it. I just didn't
See,
yeah, it's just there. It's just a part of it's like a living, breathing thing.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, it's
or because Biasella, I know it's not spelled the same, but the B of it.
Yes.
And then I'm like, okay, it's something to do with her
Yes.
last name, but I'm not putting it together. Whatever. Like,
Exactly.
I'm not questioning it. I'm just gonna be like, okay, yep, that's her handle. But now you say it out loud. Oh, that makes me so happy.
I'm like, I love that. That was a great, I'm glad you got that on camera. That was an awesome moment.
Oh, I'm so.
Katie wants to know if there's somewhere that people can follow you.
So mine right now is not, my Insta's all just pictures of my daughter. So it's not that interesting. We can put it in there if you want to, but it's Alyssa M_Allen. I'm boring though. Come look at pictures of my cute kid.
Oops, I spelled that wrong. Don't do that. That says Alyssa.
Yeah, but that random person's gonna have a whole bunch of,
Oh, wait, your name is with a Y, right?
yeah, but just one Y, not
One Y. Oh my God, I can't.
Do you need me to try?
Baby. Damn, I'm gonna do this real slow now. Okay, that's
Yep.
okay. There you go. There we go. Ignore the first one. The second one is correct.
Should have done the third one in there just for third time.
I know, I should have left the double Y.
There you go.
Liz.
Alyssa. That's my street name. Yeah.
Alyssa. Oh, Anne-Marie, sorry, hope you did not answer it already. I have connection problems. Does Power Bond have an ingredient that might cause an allergic reaction as opposed to other bonders from Ellie?
Not anything that would immediately stick out. There's a lot of, we use a lot of the same ingredients in across all different formulations here. But if you're seeing, let me know why, right? So if you have someone reacting specifically, or if you're reacting specifically, email us, email sales at Light Elegance, and then we can dive into that a little bit more, exactly what you're seeing, why you're seeing it. But no, there's nothing in there that I would be of concern saying, oh, this is a thing, avoid it. This is going to cause allergies on its own. But obviously each body chemistry is different. And
People become
sometimes
allergic to different things.
exactly that. I mean,
There's not always one, like people assume they start reacting to something that it's HEMA. There's a lot of monomers out there.
Yep.
There's a lot of other chemicals out there that people can become sensitized to that are in other products that we use on a day-to-day basis.
Yep. Or there's such a thing as a gateway allergen too, right? So slightly related compounds. So if you've developed an allergy to something in someone else's product on the market or from a different source, and then there is something in Power Bond that is related, even if it's not the same ingredient, that could be another thing that's happening there. But we absolutely could dive fully into that for your specific situation, because that, yeah, I don't have any umbrella concerns about Power Bond.
Yeah, but definitely an email. We have that information.
Yep.
So it's always good for us to have info on anything that's happening out there in the real world. Only helps us be better.
Exactly. Information is key.
Is key.
I like to work off the data. Yeah.
All right, we're hitting 11, so we're gonna go ahead and log off. Alyssa's extremely busy. We're very lucky that we got to steal her even for an hour. So
Thanks for having me.
I'm gonna let her get back to it, and then I also have to run back over to finish a photo shoot.
It's also very busy.
I'm like, yes, we're just multitasking all day. Totally fine. But thank you guys again for tuning in for another Power Hour. We appreciate you so much as always. We couldn't do it without you. And then, like I said, my code is Ashley0617. So head on over to Light Elegance, grab some fun stuff today. As always, I didn't talk about brushes. It's the only power I've never talked about a brush. So just for, consistency's sake, I'm like, don't forget to go grab a number 6 Kolinsky with that code.
love
Go grab it. It's my favorite brush.
We should talk favorite products next time.
We should.
I'll come back.
Yes.
Talk favorite products.
Yeah.
Next time.
We'll be around.
Yeah.
The duo will not leave, I promise.
We'll come back with our group name.
Yes.
Time.
Yeah. We'll think on it.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out. All right. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye.